Hello, Waswere here, back with another video, and today we're looking at a Necromancy guide, specifically one for training quickly past level 90. This method can be used all the way from level 90 to 200 mil, as that's what I did, with XP rates reaching as high as 3 mil experience per hour. As with all good guide videos, we will talk requirements, and the only requirement is level 90 Necromancy. Everything else is buyable from the GE, and with the race for 200 mil being mostly over, prices shouldn't be too extreme. Having access to Supreme Overloads will help right away at level 90, but once you gain a couple levels, the boosts they provide can be replaced by Extreme Necromancy potions. Additionally, having access to Bladed Dive or Dive is very good for completing events quickly. You'll also want to complete the Medium City of Task set, as the pocket slot item gives a 6% increase to experience gained from ritual events, a must-have for long-term training. Past that, you really don't need much for this, it's very self-contained. As it requires level 90 Necromancy, I'm going to assume you understand the basics of the ritual site and how they work. This is more for fine-tuning and learning how to do events. You have two main options to do rituals, with little change in the actual XP per hour, but they do have a change on the inputs and output. The two choices are Powerful Communion at level 90, which gives you souls as an output, and Powerful Essence at level 95, which gives you Impure Essence to sell and recoup some of your costs. Once you hit 95, the one you will decide on basically is whether you need souls or GP over the long term, as prices should adjust to make them relatively similar. I went ahead and took the GE prices of all the relevant input costs and calculated the average cost per ritual of both Powerful Communion and Powerful Essence. As you can see, the cost of Powerful Communion is cheaper at 486k due to the fact that it does not require Pure Essence as an input, which is insanely expensive right now. However, it requires better ink, a memento, or a bone as an input, and has no sellable output. So I think that as less and less people are camping rituals for XP, these prices should adjust, with Pure Essence getting cheaper and Impure Essence getting more expensive. Additionally, you can drop down to Dinosaur Bones instead of the Momentum to drop the cost to 417k per ritual at the cost of some souls. I should note that this does not include all the rewards you get for completing events, which will make up a significant portion of the cost, but at this stage I do not think it is a profit, but a slight loss. As price changes over the long term, it may change which one is more viable. Note that all setups are using the base required glyphs alongside with 3 times attraction 3 glyphs. This requires 107 Necromancy. As of right now, this can be boosted by using potions or overloads. The boost is only required while repairing and replacing the glyphs, and not at all times. For those with access to Supreme Overloads, you can drink those right from 90 and they will boost you up high enough. But for those without higher tier overloads, the tradable Extreme Necromancy potion will only boost you to a level of 106 at level 90, so it will require waiting until 91 to use the 3 times attraction 3 glyphs. The bulk of the experience that you're going to get with this method comes out of the random events that spawn throughout the encounter. There are a total of 6: Wandering Soul, Sparkling Glyph, Shambling Horror, Corrupt Glyph, Soulstorm, and Defile. They each have a certain attraction and tier of ritual requirement alongside them. The Wandering Soul and Sparkling Glyph come in right away as you start the skill with your 100% base attraction and on tier 1 rituals. The Corrupt Glyphs only spawn on tier 2 rituals with more than 200%, while the other tier 2 event Soulstorm requires over 300% attraction. The final and most important event, Defile, will require a tier 3 ritual and over 500% attraction. Events will spawn on a set schedule, with the first event taking 13 ticks down on the ritual, and each subsequent ritual after that taking 12. All powerful rituals have a timer of 84, meaning that events will spawn at tick 71, 59, 47, 35, 23, and 11. Once you do this enough times, you will memorize these numbers very quickly. When you are lower than 500% attraction, there's a chance that the event does not spawn and the tick is skipped. I think this has to do with the fact that it's trying to spawn a higher tier event, but it's not allowed. So that will cut into your XP per hour if your attraction is below 500%. The events are mostly straightforward, but I will go through them now one by one. The Wandering Soul spawns at a random edge location and slowly crosses the ritual site. All you need to do is click on him before he reaches the other side, and also being melee distance, and it clears him. This gives you experience equal to 40% of a small prismatic lamp. The Sparkling Glyph is another straightforward event. It spawns on one random glyph, and they will be sparkling. Quickly run over to it, click on it in order to restore the glyph, and then start channeling the ritual again. Like the other event, it also gives experience equal to 40% of a small prismatic lamp. The Shambling Horror event was recently hotfixed, so I won't go into great detail into the method of finding the square without the sparkles, as it's now very easy to see. But for this event, you want to click on the monkey, then click on the tile with the green smoke before the monkey reaches it. Doing so will net you 80% of the experience of a small prismatic lamp. The next event, Corrupt Glyphs, spawns 3 glyphs throughout the arena with different numbers on them in Roman numerals. Click on them in order 1, 2, and 3. This gives 120% of the experience of a small prismatic lamp. The Soulstorm is an upgraded version of the Sparkling Glyph event where a Soulstorm will appear over a specific tile. There are 3 tiers to this Soulstorm, and they are progressed with time. Each tier of the storm can be clicked once for an experience drop. You'll be able to notice the change in Soulstorm visually, as when it grows from tier 1 to tier 2, it gets bigger, and as it grows from tier 2 to tier 3, lightning is added to the storm. Spam clicking doesn't do anything, but if you have nothing better to do, you might as well spam click. This gives a total of 160% of a small prismatic lamp across 3 separate XP drops. The final event is the Defile event. It spawns a green miasmic blob atop of a glyph. You need to get beside the blob and siphon it a total of 6 times. There are 2 main ways to do this event. You can click it every time the bar goes up. This guarantees completion should you get to the blob reasonably quickly. The other method is to let the bar naturally rise and then click on it every time the purple smoke appears. This is faster because you spend less time siphoning when you aren't restarting the process by clicking, but riskier as a lapse in concentration can lose the entire event. Personally, if I was late, I would try to speed it up and only click on the purple, but if I was there in time, I would click it every time the bar went up. This is the most important event as it gives 200% of a small prismatic lamp and a rare chance at a Necromancer's Tome, which gives up to 86k XP at level 120. These are identical to complete tomes from Archaeology. It seems that the drop rate of this is approximately 1 in 20 from my anecdotal experience going up to 200 mil. The 99 cape allows you to use another alteration glyph stored in your cape, costing no ink. And as the meta evolved, there were 3 potential uses for it. The first being Attraction at 3, which boosts your attraction percentage to 700%. It's unconfirmed, but it seems that higher attraction is better even after 500%, as it seems to increase the rate at which higher tier events spawn in comparison to lower tier events. Speed 3 is the meta choice if attraction percentage above 500% does not matter, as it drops the ritual length to 74, which means that the last event spawns 10 ritual ticks quicker, which is 12 seconds saved per ritual. The downside is that it's very easy to end the ritual and cancel the final event. In the event that you find yourself doing that a lot, Speed 2 is the alternate solution, as it gives you a couple more ritual ticks of wiggle room. Note that you cannot boost for the cape slot perks and glyphs like you can for the ones you place down, so before 107 you can use Attraction 2 or Speed 2 to replace the higher tiered ones mentioned above. This is basically all you need to know to complete rituals at a high level. If done correctly, this can net between 1.5 to 2.5 mil XP per hour, but the rest of this video will be talking about small things that may change your XP rate. Bladed Dive. Dive is very good. It means you can go right to an event and start it ASAP, reducing the chance that you aren't quick enough failing the event. This is especially important for the Defile event. Try not to complete events on a glyph. They are considered forced walk tiles and the pathing is super weird and your character will rubber band. They will likely fix this at some point, but if it does happen to you, make sure to just stop spam clicking. Spam clicking is the worst thing you can do because your character will continue to rubber band. Just let your character eventually come to a stop and you may have enough time to still complete the event. Spam casting spells, it does give experience, but it's not worth the cost. With how Essence is made, these runes will likely never be cheap enough that the cost of darkness will be low enough that it would justify the cost. At minimum, we're probably looking at 100 GP per XP, even once prices drop. All experience gained with rituals works with experience boost, so once the embargo is done, crank out all the pull scores, avatar bonuses, and the like for even higher XP per hour. For now, the only really thing to maintain is your torsal sticks. While this is really high XP per hour, it is very active, so if you feel like you don't want to do it, just go AFK combat. The rituals will always be here later. As a whole, thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Otherwise, have a good day, and I'll catch you in the next one.